Doing it fancy today. My producer decided to. So, hey world, another episode of KEW Exchange. Got a friend of mine, Coach David Verdu. We're going to have a great conversation about life, about what to do wrong, what not to do wrong, how to do right, how to eventually do right. We're going to talk about all the bullshit.
Nice.
We're going to uncover
it. Sometimes.
I'm telling you. So it's not fancy today, obviously. There's no Kelly. My producer's out. So it's not going to be fancy, not going to be pretty, but it's going to be real and it's going to be fun. So anyone you don't know, David, why don't you do a quick introduction just to introduce yourself, a little bit about what you do and who you are, and we'll dive a little bit into your story.
You got it, man. First off, thanks, Michael, for letting me hang out with you because you're really cool. And I think that you are a gem, just like that triangle up there.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Hey, man. Yeah, so I'm on this journey like most of us. You know, I've gone through life. And as I've gone through life, I've taken the things that have been trial and error, and I have put them into motion and practice for the kids of younger generation. So I started a program called Way Beyond Measure. Way Beyond Measure is me with all the things that I've gone through to share. It's just way beyond. I don't even know, like your story. Dude, I got struck by lightning, and, you know, I got fired from things that I'm like, what? Huh? And I've been looked down upon, and I've been, you know, told that I've been this and that. But with that said, Way Beyond Measure was birthed out of the desire of my heart because I was a school teacher for 32 years, and I was a coach. It's Coach Verdu, basketball, soccer, all that stuff, football. And, you know, 32 years in the classroom, I was like thinking, I think I want to go chill somewhere. And so my wife and I just went to Texas. And while we were in Texas helping out at Cal Farley's Boys Ranch, which is a at-risk ranch for students and kids, there's about 300 and something students from age 7 years old to 18. And my wife and I were taking care of a lot of them. It was an incredible time, but there was something inside of me that said I need to go more. I need to do something like way beyond measure. You got to do something. And so I was like, well, what do you want me to do? So I went because a couple of the students asked me to go chill with them and go watch an assembly because on the ranch it was all. So I went to this assembly and I was like, this is a captive audience of high school kids. Bring it. And it just to me was like, oh my gosh, I could have done so much better. And I'm walking out the building and it was like, you do it. And I was like, no kidding, Michael. I turned. Huh? Who said that? And a couple of weeks later, I had an opportunity to do it. And dude, whether you like it or not, it was like Barry Bonds turning on a fastball, bro. I hit it out of the park, and it was like an aha moment for me. Like, dude, see, this is really what I want you to do. Is I want you to get in front of the masses and share with them your tender heart and your funniness and your spirit and your oomph, and tell them to think before they speak. So started traveling all over the country, all over the nation, and going and sharing the Think program and SUSO, StandUp StandOut, which you could see behind me, and just start sharing hope and love and joy and peace, and how to open a door for somebody, and how to live way beyond measure, and how to stand up and stand out and do the things for people that a lot of people won't do. It's not an easy task, especially when you're looking yourself in the mirror and you go, I don't know how to do this because my mind plays tricks on me, and I've got ADD and mostly alphabet. And how am I supposed to do this, man? How do I? And so I've just taken it by the horns or the reins or whatever you want to call it. And I said, okay, here am I. I'm not going to be the greatest or the best or anything like that, but I'm willing. And it has just grown into something amazing. And COVID hit, and now I'm not in front of a lot of people. And a lady asked me if I would do a video for her classroom. Hey, my students are all at home and they're bummed out because I knew you were coming to the school and now you can't come to the school. Can you just send me a 9-minute video? dude. I said, oh my gosh, yes. And so I made one video, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And they're all about 10 to 14 minutes long on these amazing think programs. Do so, stand up, stand out. What does that look like on the playground, in the classroom, in the cafeteria? And they're available on my website right now. K through 5th grade, the SUSO Stand Up Stand Out program, and we're super stoked about it. And with all that said, I'm Coach Verdu, and that's the Way Beyond Measure Minute.
There you go, man. There you go. So first off, hey Annie, that was my human lightning bolt for my life. And then hey Carl, she woke me up at a time where I was so dark I couldn't even see light anymore.
Wow.
So that's the impact she has on people. It's, it's funny, right? Like I think about my past and everything I've been through, right? We were talking about this before we went live, and I've been through so much, right? And it's hard, like, to choose a story to talk about sometimes. But relating to what you do and what we've talked about directly offline, like, I was bullied as a kid, right? And then I hit a growth spurt in 4th grade, and I became the bully's bully. I started bullying bullies because I never wanted another kid to feel what I felt, right? So at 4 and 9 years old, I started bullying other people that were bullied. And by the time I got to high school, first of all, I was already hooked on drugs and alcohol, so I was just a train wreck. Like, I mean, it was a living embodiment of Chris Farley. But, like, in every way possible, I was a train wreck mess. But I still, I mean, there was a game, I'll never forget it. Like, our team was national champions, and I literally took out almost the whole starting team because they were picking on these kids that were these
Wow.
Openly gay children, and they were picking on them. And so I got in the middle of it and I laid them the hell out. I just took them out. Like, they couldn't play, they couldn't do shit that week. And I just took it. I just didn't play the game. Like, wow. I always stood up for everybody else. I didn't fit into any group. I didn't fit into any one category. I never did. A lot of it was because I was a rebel. Part of it was I didn't want to be responsible or held accountable for myself. Didn't want to have to be responsible to friends because I never let anyone that close. But, lo and behold, I was the one who just played that in the background, always helping others. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons I lived through all my trials and tribulations, because no matter what, I was always down to my core, right? Like, I always found my soul somewhere, even no matter how low I was, no matter the ODs, no matter the drownings, no matter, the abuse I went through as a kid, so much of it, right? Like, it just didn't matter. And looking back, it's very relatable to what you're doing now, and in ways relatable to what you went through, right? So why don't we talk a little bit about why this means so much to you?
Come on, man.
I'm bringing it out, man. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
So, I mean, I pinpoint it, and I share this with my high school students and let them understand the power of words and the power of negativity and the power that it can infiltrate in you. So one of the greatest questions that I would have for you or myself is, how did you tame that? And how did you get to where you are now? Because now we're national speakers, or whatever you want to call us. We're still in front of people. We're still trying to motivate. So I go back and I share this story. I say, I'll never forget, guys. It was in 4th grade. I'm in 4th grade. I'm in Mr. Garvalio's class. We used to call him Mr. G. He was our flag football coach. Me, Scooter Grotti, and Mike, and Kelly, and Wendy, Richard, and me sitting there in this round table, because in Mr. G's class, you had a fake checkbook for the first 15 minutes of class. And depending on what you picked for the beginning of the year, like, I think I was a plumber or something, and I made this much money a month. And so every day I had to balance and check, because I had to go to the bank, and then I went to the pizza place, because every table was a different store, restaurant. It was amazing. Cool idea. Well, I'm sitting there with all these people, and Mr. Zorro walks in. And Mr. Zorro, everyone knows Mr. Zorro. He's the special education teacher. He is here because somebody is not that intelligent. We're sitting around the table and all of us just sort of, oh, geez, who is it? We're waiting because we're just going to stare him down. We're not going to point or do, but we're just going to stare him down because we know that I want to see who the weak one is. I want to, and we were sort of all looking at each other and we knew exactly what we were talking about because I've talked to them to this day and they said, well, I remember. And so Mr. Zorro's doing it, and I said, oh, gee, here we go. I said, this person is done. It's so, I feel so sorry for him. David Verdu. I graduated with the 4th grade reading level. What grade was I in?
12, I'm assuming.
I was in 4th grade when that happened. When I graduated high school, I'm at a 4th grade reading level. What? Why? If I'm not smart, then I'll prove it. If you think I'm dumb, then I'm going to play dumb. Because all throughout my 7th and 8th grade year, I'd always be late for the special ed class, which was my English and helped me with math. It was one class, but it was in the back of so you would walk through a freaking tunnel or whatever, the hallway, and lockers on each side, and you peel off and go to but at the end of the hallway was special education room. I waited till everyone went to class, and then I'd go to my class. And she, why are you always late? And I had to explain, and she said, okay. Cool teacher.
Yeah, that's a really cool teacher.
I get to my senior year, and Mrs. Venti's my senior teacher, and I can't pass English, dude. It's senior English. I went from my junior year with the headset listening to the Leagues Under the Sea for the 9th time, and Treasure Island and Huck Finn, but never no comprehension, freaking stoned out of my mind, eating freaking Twinkies. Right?
Yeah.
And then my senior year, I'm at this senior English class, and I'm like, and she's doing Hamlet and doing all this crap, and I've got like a 16 in the class. It's not good, man. My mom tried to help me. Mrs. Venti pissed my mom off, and I got 8 brothers. All of us went through Casa Grande. I'm number 6 of 8. And, she just, my mom was on the PTA, and my mom was like, you're just going to have to figure it out, son. I'm not fighting your battle. So I told her, I said, hey, how am I going to pass this class? You ain't going to go anywhere. She's so mean, dude. I said, there's got to be a way. She goes, if you think you're so that and whatever, why don't you do Hamlet in front of the classroom? I said, okay, I'll be back. So I didn't show back up for a week for a classroom. She was marking me late. I said, no, I'm studying something right now. I'll be back. So 3rd, 4th day before every graduation or whatever, I walk into her classroom full garbage Hamlet. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is noble in the mind to suffer thy slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take an arm against the sea of trouble. And I did that, and she was like, I got a D-.
There you go. That's all you needed.
Bye.
That's it.
D-. I said, bye. She goes, yeah, bye. That's it. That's all I had to do. So I was very thankful for that. Always very, but again, I go back and I say, well, man, so now I can't go to college, and I have all these scholarships to play soccer and do something amazing. I don't do it. I go in the Navy. I joined the Navy, and man, I'm the man in the Navy. I mean, I'm doing this as easy. My dad, you have 8 brothers. This ain't shit.
Right.
I get up early. I'll fight for my food. You want?
Yeah, you want to fight? Then let's go.
I mean, I'll get the food because I know,
Yeah.
dude. There's tricks. I'm just saying. Anyways, we get to the 5th week of the Navy, and they send us to a classroom. And dude, if I'd have known that, you should have stuck a piece of coal up my butt, because I'd have had a diamond in 20 minutes. The pressure, dude. I got held back for 5 weeks. I didn't go to an 8-week boot camp. I went to a 15-week boot camp, getting my butt kicked until I learned. What are you stupid? Dude, getting pummeled in my mind. Pummeled. I finally did it. I said, all right, you're not going to take my I didn't give a shit. You're not taking me down.
Right.
I finished. I graduated. Not only graduated, I graduated with honors. I was the freaking chief petty officer of my company, and it just worked out, right? And then I go through all that and this and that. And then there comes a time where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not. I was like mid-20s, and I was going to go back to school and college, and I'm not dumb. Dude, I went to college. I went to Bible college and graduated with honors. And I went to university and did some studies and stuff like that. And I did amazing. And then I became a teacher for 32 years. Wait, what? So with all that, what was it? What it was me not giving up and me staying on track, me staying in the game. What was it was trial and error. What was it was not making something permanent that was temporary. What was it was me surrounding myself with people like a Michael or anybody that can be an influence to me to say, dude, you ain't going nowhere. And if I have to drive out there and smack you, then I will. But, and that's the key. And now I get to do this and share with students and kids that stand up, stand out. You can do this. Let's get through. 5.5 million students skip school, take off every year, change schools. That's a whole state. That's a state of children that don't go to school. The state of, where you from, brother? Where you at?
From Florida. I'm from Florida, so you can't count that.
Half of Florida's students aren't going anywhere. What?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was one of those, right? Like I never went. Like, I didn't go to school. I hated it. I despised school. I was, for me, because of my childhood, and I was labeled and I was just abused and all these different things, right? So I went through all this crap. I was physically abused, emotionally abused. I started drinking at 9, hardcore drugs by 12, right? So like, and I was in a white upper middle class family, like really upper middle class. And
in Florida, you've been in Florida all your life?
I was, yeah. Now I'm in Arkansas. Remember, I'm still stuck in Arkansas. Wait. It got extended to August now. So,
right.
So
how come I haven't gone and seen you yet?
I don't know.
I'm in Arkansas.
I know you are.
Dang it.
We talked about that. You're like 2 hours away. So, an hour and a half or something. Everything's an hour. Everything's an hour. Like, it's like
big tail. I'm up
yeah, there. No, it's zigzag to go 6 miles. It's so like for me, school was not a safe haven. It was horrible. I despised it. Every other year I had a teacher that paid attention to me, wanted to understand me. And those were the years that I got straight A's, went into gifted programs. And then the next year I'd be right back into D's and F's because the teachers just didn't care. They didn't have the time to want to understand how I learned. I took Algebra 1 honors from 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. They kept failing me because I refused to show the work because I did all the work in my head. 13, I taught myself calculus, right, so I could help my cousin with work. And then, I found a math teacher in 9th grade that looked at me and she goes, "You know this crap. Why are you taking it again?" I said, "Because everybody wants me to show my work." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, she read a problem. I gave her the answer. She read a problem. I gave her the answer. She goes, there's no way you're cheating. I said, no, I'm not cheating. I just know it. I said, I taught myself calculus. I know how to do this stuff. And she looked at me and she goes, so here, I'll make you a deal. You get 110% on this test. And she gave me she gave me calculus questions. She gave me it was like a 24 question test or something like that. And there was only 20 of it that was getting scored. There was calculus, there was all different trigonometries, all different maths that I've never taken before. And she said, you get every single one right, which would be 120%. I will count that as your Monday through Thursday grade for the rest of the school year. But on Friday, you have to teach the class the way that you do math.
Okay.
And you have to take the test. I don't care if you show work, but you can't miss any of the extra questions. And I'm going to give you calculus questions at the end of every test. And the minute you miss one, you've got to start staying awake the first 4 days of the week. And I made it the whole year, sleeping 4 days a week, teaching the 5th day, and I got 100% in the class. So, and then keep in mind, by 11th grade, I get asked to leave 2 high schools and not come back. Gently, just never come back, please. Like, don't come back. Because I was just in so much trouble. I mean, I was, dealing drugs, passing drugs, flipping drugs. I had a gambling ring that I was running between teachers, deans. I had everybody in it. So like my teachers were in it. So I was always getting bees with them. It was great. Like, I mean, and again, nobody knew it was me because I was always sitting in the background, just protecting the kids that were always getting picked on, Like that was just a role I absorbed in school. Like I always got along with everybody, whether it was goth, grunge, whether it was skaters, whether it was gangbangers. I got along with everybody. Everyone got along with me except for the football team, obviously. But everybody else.
You got along with everybody that understood their lane and didn't step into anybody else's business.
Yeah, I mean, the basketball players loved me.
Wow, you're a football player and you can beat the tar out of somebody that doesn't even.
No.
He's not even in your. I mean, yeah, he's littler or he's different. Well, just leave him alone. He's the dude that pays your salary.
Right.
Cut it, dude.
Right. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Florida, which was like national champions numerous times in high school. Like they would bring players from all over the state, put them up room and board just to get them into the school. And like, I mean, there was some crazy crap going on there. There was tons of nepotism. It reminded me of Varsity Blues. I mean, that's really what it felt like. It was really, like there were guys getting DUIs and then the sheriff would let them off because their son went to the school. Like, I mean, it was crazy. So all these things were going on. I mean, there was like 320 pound, 350 pound, huge offensive linemen that would run from me. They would run. I mean, I haven't grown since I was 13 years old. I'm 5'10 and a half, 5'10", somewhere between 5'10 and 5'11, depending on the day. If I put on heels, I break 6 feet. But, and I'm stocky and, I could take a hit. And, these guys used to swing at me and I used to just stand there and let them hit me. I used to be like, are you going to do something?
What you're a tweak, dude, is what you were. So my brother, Mark, who is just 2 years older than me, it goes, Joe Bill C. found Mark, and then me. So Mark, 5'8", smaller than you, stocky little dude, man. Looks like a chia pet. He is. I saw this dude 6'3", 6'4", go bap, 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 and he went.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'd have been melted. I mean, I was to the floor. But what was it? Something or a mindset or what? Why? I mean, how do you find out that you can? Did you? I mean, what did you?
I had a death wish. I mean, I just didn't want to be alive, right? Like I had a death wish. I mean, I've been near-death experiences between 10 and 13 times. Heart stopped, ODs, drownings, drowned twice. I was beaten to death once.
Like you drowned twice. I mean, is that in the same day or
no, 2 different times? 2 different ages. One time I was underwater for 14 or 17 minutes. The other time I got my leg caught in never mind. It was like a sleepaway camp, and
so that's
like,
for another time. But
yeah.
you would think maybe you'd stay away from water. I'm just saying. I mean,
Well, you would think, but I lived in Florida, so it's kind of hard, right? Like, I mean,
okay, okay.
It's almost like being here and trying to find anything. Being there and not finding water is nearly impossible. So it's like, I mean, I used to skip school, go to the beach. I'd show up for my first class of the day with a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, a bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese. My teacher would look at me like,
were you Spicoli?
What?
From past times at Ridgemont High? You don't know Spicoli? Oh no, you got to go see Spicoli.
But I didn't smoke pot. Like, I was never a burnout. Like, I wasn't a burnout. I was always on coke and drinking. Like, lots of coke, lots of drinking, lots. Like, before I got sober, I was up to, I think, 3 bottles a day and 3 8-balls a day. No, 2 bottles a day, 2 bottles a day and 3 8-balls a day. I had a death wish. I just didn't want to survive. I wanted it to be over, and it hasn't worked out that way still. So I'm convinced that I'm going to die by, like, tripping over a Twinkie and hitting my head on, a bubble, and it's going to magically kill me whenever my time's up. It's going to be comedic. It's going to be very satire-like and very comedic. However, I really do die. Like, I mean, I'll be going to the bathroom and the ceiling falls on my head. It'll be like the stupidest thing ever. It'll be like a cartoon. Like, because to this point, everything's been unbelievably, ridiculously, just not even perceivable for most people. Right. Car accidents I should have never walked away from. My DUI, I was sleeping on the train tracks in my car for 3.5 hours. They rerouted 7 trains for some reason, and then they didn't even know I was on the tracks. Like, I mean, and I was parked across from the sheriff station. They had no clue. And we're not talking about like a sheriff station out here where, you can ride a donkey up to. I mean, we're talking about Florida where there's, 10,000 cars an hour passing by. I mean, you're talking about 10 million people in the southern 3 counties of Florida. Wow. And like, all this crap. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, I mean, it's.
Wow. Mr. Hand. Yeah. Mr. Hand, if I'm here and you're here, doesn't it make it our time? Anyway,
I mean, I literally did whatever I want. I mean, I had a grammar British literature teacher in 10th grade who needed a stereo system installed in his car. So I made one phone call, got a stereo system installed in his car, and I didn't have to show up for class the rest of the year. I wanted to be on the baseball team, but I had leg surgery right before freshman year. And the coach, so the JV coach wanted me on the team. The varsity coach wanted me on the team. But then the varsity coach threw a ball at my head during tryouts because I hit 7 home runs in a row off him. And he came, and I basically chased him and just laid his ass out. So obviously I wasn't playing baseball. I couldn't play soccer because my leg didn't heal in time for the soccer season. And the football coach, who was the athletic director, I told to go take a shit for himself. And if he came anywhere near me, I'd bury him. It was just my life. Like, that was a different life. I was a completely. Because it is what it is, Dorothy. I mean, why can't I be happy until the day that I die in a bubble? Like, whatever it is, who cares? Oh, it is what it is. Like, when it's my time, it's my time. I'm not worried about it. That's outside of my hands. If I'm not dead yet, then I'm here for a reason. So I got a lot of stuff to get done before I go.
Yeah, you got a long ways to go, man.
I'm not wishing for it.
He's not going anywhere. And I totally get what she was saying, because we're such positive, uplifting, motivational people that sometimes speaking perhaps reality or whatever we feel, that the person that is so inspired and loving does not want to hear that.
Right.
We just don't want to. Why would you be so negative? Here's the thing. I don't know if it's such a negative thing, or is it listen, I'm just going to live in the moment and be happy right now. And when it's time, it's time.
Yeah.
But stay in it.
I have no fear of death whatsoever. I have no fear of mortality. I mean, as soon as I die, they're sending me right back. So what's the difference? I'll be in my next life. I won't even know. Like, I mean, it's just, this is the reality. I just keep getting recycled. Obviously, I'm not learning lessons. So it is what it is. Awesome. And awesome. So let's talk more about your program a little bit, because I want to go I could sit here and tell stories with you all day. I mean, we can do this all day long. But I really want to spotlight some of the stuff you're working on, because I feel like right now more than ever, labels are destroying the world. First of all, everything's a label. Second of all, our education system is so broken, it's disgusting. It's abysmal. And third, you're helping kids to see themselves, and I think it's important to share that.
Yeah, exactly. We get to do something that's pretty amazing. We get to actually talk to people who have used our program and say that this is actually benefiting. This is actually doing something for us in the hallway, on the playground, because it is, one, it's lively. Two, it's funny and it builds a memory. Three, it's catchy, right? Why do people continue to go listen to I Got the Eye of the Tiger? It's most of the kids, not most, some of the kids don't even know who Katy Perry is, but they know that song very much so. And it's the Eye of the Tiger. It's who's you got the eye. It's wonderful. It's catchy. It's tuney. It's memorable. And so we do all that for our students, because being in the classroom for 32 years, I had high school kids, and a lot of those high school kids did not learn it back in the day. And so what we need to do is we need to start back in the day, and we need to build them up from here. So our K through 5th grade videos and program and curriculum and is out. It's on our website. We are working diligently right now on middle school, junior high, and high school. And so, like I said, we started somewhere, and it's moving and shaking. It's available for elementary schools anywhere nationwide. We are absolutely 100% ready for schools to get on board and see what we do. We're available right now for homes and homeschools. Just go to waybeyondmeasure.com, click on that button, and try it for free. Just try it, waybeyondmeasure.com, and try the Suso show for free. Recommendations for who to watch it, I'd say everybody. It's funny. I still laugh. I laugh. Dude, who is that? Who's Crazy George? Crazy George to me is like he's so crazy and just does. It's just funny. You're like, dude, stop doing that. That's not even funny anymore. And then you go, dude, you did it again. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But and it's Pete and repeat, and to talk about the words that come out of your mouth, and understanding that toothpaste is fun, but it's meant to go into your mouth, because if you squeeze it out anywhere else, it's just going to make a mess. Like your words, it's just a mess. Everything has a place. Everything has a purpose and a place and a time. So we talk about, like, is it true? And we get the hands raised. Coach, it is true that Timmy can't walk and he's in a wheelchair. So why would it be nice to go up to him and say, hey, Timmy, you're in a wheelchair and you can't walk? It's absolutely 100% true. However, was that helpful? Do you not think that he knows that? Is that inspiring? How about something? I'll tell you what, buddy. I want you to go play basketball with us today, and I'm going to push you around. Everyone knows you're coming, and we're going to let you play on our team today. That is inspiring. That's what we're teaching kids, man. And so it's just a matter of perspective and kindness and showing that. And we've made it, Michael, you and I could learn something from this. It's so simple. It is.
That's impressive. That's impressive. If it's so simple Michael can do it, then we're good. That's definitely got to break it down to, right? Like,
there's no math questions either. This isn't about math or reading or science. It's going to be hands-on, like match games and puzzles and things that are going to make your mind have a memory. Because when you're done, it's going to say, "Be kind." Oh wow, yeah. Did you guys ever do that Be Kind puzzle, or have you guys done the Think match game? and it changes all the time on our website. So
you need to. I need to introduce you to Michelle Madden. This person right here, who I just put up on the comments. She's on LinkedIn also, but she watches it on Facebook a lot of times. She's not feeling well right now, but she's a teacher for differently abled students, because I don't like special needs. I don't like those labels.
Right.
But differently abled students,
my favorite.
She's actually working on some really amazing stuff, and I think you guys would have a ton to talk about.
And you know what? That's probably so next week I'm going to school called Magazine, and instead of doing an assembly, they've asked me to go into a hazmat suit and just kidding. But I'm going to go to the classroom and spend about 20 minutes in each classroom, go over what we do, who we are, and what. And my favorite thing to do is going into my buddies' classes. I call them my buddies because all of them think I'm their buddy, man. None of them look at me strange or weird. They just want me to do and be, because that's what they're doing. And I want to go into that classroom and hang out with them because, man, they inspire me. They inspire me, and then I get to do some magic, and they're like, wow! And it's so much fun. It's such a great, great time. So I would love to meet with her and hang out with her and share with her exactly who and what and how we do it. SUSO, StandUp StandOut. And it's a good thing. And I'm just glad that I said yes and I get to have fun.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of it, right? Like teaching kids that not everything has to be so serious, because there is so much pressure on every living being on this planet right now, kids, adults, everyone, that it's just, we need to go back to finding a healthier outlet for fun, right? My way of drinking at 9, doing Coke at 12, not the most advisable way to find fun, right?
Wow.
Like, well, granted, right? South Florida, it all comes upstream from South America. So, cocaine in Florida was like getting marijuana anywhere else in the country. So it was like, you can swim through it like Scrooge McDuck. Like, I mean, it's everywhere. Like, that's just how it was. And then after September 11th, there was a little bit of a hiccup because they had to switch ways to get it in, but that's a different story. That's another story for a different time. But like, there's just so much to this, right? Like, life is so complicated and life is so difficult just living and breathing. Why do we need to make it harder on ourselves and harder on each other? What I'm trying to do is put into practice, because I'm getting better at allowing others to take their path and take their journey. What I'm really trying to really turn that inward and go focus on is allowing myself. Because I am so hypercritical of myself, I'm so over analytical that I tear myself to shreds over it a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And I want to just be, I want to be everything I stand for 24/7. And sometimes I get hypercritical and it takes me away from just being, if that makes sense.
It does.
Complicated being.
I like giving myself the opportunity to fail. I like giving myself the opportunity to even get better or to educate myself. So what I do is listen. I am ADD and ADHD and most of the alphabet, and I am somebody that is has gone through things, and there's a perspective that has changed in this last year. Yes, I've been sharing my story of the 4th grade. I've been sharing my story of the Navy. The Navy's there's a whole nother part to that of the Navy. The part when I, played soccer for a few games and then got hurt, and then I had a spiritual awakening, and then growing in that and becoming a minister and coach and teacher, and it's been a lot of journeys. I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to give myself an opportunity to give myself a break. Give yourself a break. You know, is this worth me getting anxiety over? I figured something out in my life is that my anxiety is almost the same type of response with excitement. Does that make sense? Meaning there's I put it on me like the excitement is going to be something so big and it never ends that way. And the anxiety is something, well, probably so small that I make it big.
I build up anxiety in anticipation, right? My anxiety is truly in anticipation for whatever the event is, because I overcome everything, obviously, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't give up, right? Like I've had over $60 million stolen from me in bad business
Oh,
deals, bad partners. Like, I mean, I've worked with the UNDP. I've signed government contracts in over 30 governments. Like I've done crazy crap, right? And yes, I'm still homeless and I'm still in Arkansas and I'm still waiting for the hearing. But that's besides the point, right? None of it defines me. Not a single thing I've ever done defines me. I'm completely over labels. I'm completely over titles. I'm completely over any of that. You know, at the end of the day, my anxiety is more about the anticipation of whatever might come, because my mind is so analytical that it goes into a rundown, almost like Doctor Strange, where I sit there and I look at every single scenario and possible outcome to the point that I get horrendous migraines from it because my mind won't slow down. My ADHD kicks in the high gear and it runs. And I sit there and I go through scenario after scenario after scenario until I figure out a way that I have a little wiggle room to make certain steps and still find a path that I want to take and get where I need to go. But I'm a little nutty, so that's okay. I'm me.
You need a goose rabat moment.
My what? Oh, no, I get there. I do that every morning. I meditate for hours.
I've never done that. Just
I have.
I've never done that part. I still do. I do the goose rabat though. I like when my wife looks at me and goes, that makes me listen, it's okay. It's okay. Don't put that all on you. I get it though. I do. I get it. And so because of who we are, because of what we've gone through, I've sort of taken all that and I've said, okay, where do we get to start? And that's what we're doing, Michael. We're taking what we had to do and go through, because how many Davids are in fourth grade right now? How many Michaels are 9 years old right now that are going to make a choice to do or not to do, whatever it might be, that could lead them down a very pigtaily course, or we can help them continue to climb the mountain, because either way it's not easy. It's like, take this path because it's easier. Right. Do that. No, and not everybody gets a trophy.
Yep. That whole 8th place trophy thing is annoying as shit. Like participation awards and stuff like that just suck. You delusion your children. They become delusional.
It's to me, we're losing the value of what life's all about. You can choose to be a winner no matter what you do. Yeah. Listen to me. If I make it to, let's just say something. Let's say I make it to the NFL and they pay me, I'm going to do a 7-year contract for $189 million. Am I a winner or a loser? I mean, I'm not basing it off of just, to me, I just won. Yeah. To myself. However, if I don't win the Super Bowl, if I don't ever make it to the Pro Bowl, if I don't, am I a loser?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like we have a very enormous misconception of One, instant gratification versus delayed results. Two, when it comes to the overachieving side, we can get so wrapped up in being the best that we lose the journey, right? And the journey is where the magic is, right? The journey is the trials and tribulations. The journey is the battle, the struggle, fighting for self-sacrificing for what you want, self-sacrificing for what you know you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
That is the magic. That is the magic in all of it. That's when that's what we've got to appreciate more. And nobody wants to sacrifice. Don't get me wrong. I don't like sacrificing things on a daily basis, but I'm learning so much from it.
Yes.
If I would have came out here and I would have been here for 30 days and they would have said, go ahead, take your kids and leave, I wouldn't have learned a damn thing in this last year. Now I'm a completely different human being, and I'm elevating myself, and I'm elevating everybody I come into contact with, and I'm reaching towards my goal of elevating humanity through knowledge and understanding.
That's good.
That's my path. That's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they didn't let me die any of those times. That's why they kept bringing me back. Because my purpose is here, and I'm doing it. And I do it every single day by showing up. I do it by being present to those that mean most to me. I'm very specific about where I put my time and energy. My time and energy goes to only things that deserve it. And that's it. If my time and energy, if I'm spending time and energy on something, that it has to be so important to me that it is worth me putting it into. Because I'm not wasting it anywhere. I'm done. I wasted enough of my life.
Right.
I wasted enough of my energy. None of it was a waste because I learned every step of the way, right? So it wasn't a waste of the experience, but my energy that I exerted, my energy that I committed to it, my energy that I just threw away, not knowing my own value all those years, that was the waste. But again, now it's taught me my own value today. I know what I'm worth today. I know what my time is worth. I know what my energy is worth. And I still sit here doing anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week on this live streaming because it means something to me. I get so much value out of talking to people like you, David, and talking to others and sharing their stories and meeting and building these relationships and sharing the message across the platforms. That's important to me. There is a value there. And that's not something I'll probably get back directly. But I put it into the universe and I know it's coming back in some way, shape, or form at some point. At some point. And I'm willing to wait because I'm not, I don't need the instant gratification. It does me no good. The instant gratification isn't what I'm in it for. It's just not. This is a big term. This is a bigger picture thing. This is a long-term process. I wish they would have taught that in school, right?
Right.
Don't get the A, get the D and learn. Really learn the information. Because the only kids that learn are the ones that keep failing. Because the ones that keep succeeding, they just memorize and move on.
That's a fact.
They're not learning anything. They're just passing tests. You want to look at the most innovative kids that come out of school, they're the ones that drop out because they have a better way of doing things in life. Because the system is so broken, it doesn't teach us to excel and accelerate life and evolve humanity. Just what do I know? That's just me. That's just me, right? So
I know. I'll share one more thing real quick. I know we got just a few here, but I wanted to. You had hit on some things, and all I kept thinking about was the peak and the valley. And I always share a really cool story about the peak and valley because it's like, listen, I want to be on the peak, man. I want to be at that level where, a lot of people are going to be looking up, going, look at him, and he's really done an amazing thing. Let me share something about the peak. If you've ever been up Pikes Peak, you got to understand that the view is $1 million, but you can't stay up there that long. You can't breathe.
Nope.
There's no air. We call it, I never really understood it until I moved to Colorado, the tree line. It is a line. Past this, no trees. You take 3 steps, trees. You go up 3 steps, what I say? No trees.
Yeah.
And you keep going up and up. So if there are no trees on the top of the mountain, it's thin. What did I tell you about the view?
It's worth it.
Amazing. But you can't hang out up there. You get to see where you have come. Everything's happening in the valley.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the valley while you're still up on the peak. There is a battle going on in the valley because the water's raging and the rains and everything's coming. On the top of the mountain, when the rains come, it don't hang out. It leaves. Why? Because it's going to the valley.
Yep.
It's flowing. And so in the valley, you have an army that's fighting and they're looking up to you and saying, chicken butt, come on down. No, I'm good. I'm all right up here. And you're not growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know why the battle never walks up the hill to come after you? Because he isn't stupid. As he starts going up, you can start pummeling him, rolling blocks and roll. He goes, no, I'll wait. I know you have to come back down here. There's no water up there. There's no air up there. You ain't killing a deer up there. You ain't getting a beaver's coat up there. You're not getting nothing on top of the peak except an awesome view of what you've done.
Right.
Yeah, you got to go back to finish. So then you have to go back down the mountain where the water flows and the bees nourish and the fruit and all the things that are going to keep you moving. And you're going to come face on with the enemy. But let me tell you something. Because you found yourself on top of the mountain, you know that the battles can be won. You saw it.
Mm-hmm.
You did. You got to see it. That's just a taste. Now go back. Now go get them. So don't be afraid that when someone asks you, wow, peaks or valleys, what's your favorite? You know what? I hang out more in the valley because when I get to the peak, I just take a look at what I've done and where I've come from. But then I got to go back because there's some things I need to fix.
Yeah. It's all about the process and learning. It's all about, yep. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm looking for David Hudson.
That's next door.
They got your address on it.
476 or 478?
476. And then when I scan it, it shows his address.
Yeah.
Now, I do have one for 478, though.
Okay.
Thank you.
FedEx. So look, I get it, right? Like it's the way that I look at it is I don't look at it at peaks and valleys anymore. I look at it as in a never-ending evolving process to where I'm trying to stay middle line. As I take steps up, the valley follows me because as soon as I make that next level, I'm going to the next battle to get to the next level, right? And I don't look at the down anymore. I don't even think that there is a valley anymore. I think it's just a continuous upslope that I'm just climbing until the last day on this planet. Mm-hmm. Because it's a never-ending journey. This is a journey that ends the day you die. And I've decided I'm never looking back again.
Come on.
I'm just going to keep growing forward.
Right.
And that's just where I'm at.
That's right. You remember, Denver is a mile high.
Yep.
But it's a valley.
Always intriguing, isn't it?
Just saying. I mean, I totally exactly what you just said. Do you know that when you drive from Denver, Colorado, and go south to Colorado Springs, you elevate another 1,500 or more? You don't even know it.
Nope.
Because you're what? On that even plane, buddy. You're going to move and shake and grow. You're going to prune You're going to do as seasons tell you in your life, and you're going to continue to grow. Michael, I appreciate you letting me be here today and letting people know that, you know, there are people that are trying to make a difference. And I would just love for anybody that's listening. I dare you, go to waybeyondmeasure.com and just check out for your children what the thing is all about.
Yep.
It's Blue's Clues on steroids. It's Sesame Street with a unbelievable character development choices and stuff like that. So, man, that was
I love it, David. Thank you so much for being here, man. Thank you for sharing space with me. Thank you very much for having this conversation.
So I know that you're up north from here.
Yep.
Have you tried Pieology yet?
No.
You hear of it?
No.
Okay, it's crazy. It's a little crazy, but it's like going to Subway. You pick all your stuff. It's crazy. It's pretty crazy. They make it in front of you. Michael, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody have a great day. That delay while it's waiting to end, still recording, still going. Oh, still live. It still goes. This is like
it just never stops. It never
no,
goes.
it doesn't. Like StreamYard is really having delay issues. My internet's having delay issues.
Wow.
It's still going. Oh, wait. I think it's stopping now. No, it didn't stop then either.
56 and 30. I got to take my son